Welcome back. Today we're going to make a classic and all-time favorite dessert, the fruit trifle. For this, these are the following ingredients that you need. I've listed them out. Basically, you require a fruit jelly mix, some mawa cake or sponge cake. You also get some small cupcakes as well. That will also do. So we first empty the sachet of the fruit jelly mix, whichever flavor you choose, strawberry, raspberry, blueberry, whatever is available in the market. And of course, prepare the mawa cakes and divide them into 4 wedges each cake. You'll have about 8 wedges. To the jelly mix powder, just add as per the instruction on the packet. You'll have the measured quantity of water, boil it vigorously and pour the boiled water, stirring all the time. The jelly crystals dissolve well and mix it up. Now you get 2 varieties of these jelly mix. One is purely vegetarian for the vegetarians, and the other one is, of course, contains gelatin, which is an animal product, which is non-vegetarian. So it's a choice which you have to make. And I sometimes also make with fruit pulp, real fruit pulp, which is I just stew that bit and I mixie it, grind it, and then I use gelatin for the non-vegetarians to set it, or I add china grass also for the vegetarians. So this is something which you can do if you want to use a fruit pulp. In this instance, we are just using easy instant jelly mix which I had in my house, which I'm using up. So onto that, while it's a little warm, just cool it a little. While it's a little warm, just soak in the mawa cake. I prefer mawa cake because it gives a nice richness. You can also use normal cake or cake trimmings, or you can also use sponge fingers if they're available. To this, I've taken a fruit cocktail in syrup from Del Monte. You can buy any other product which you like, and or you can stew your own fresh fruit in just sugar and cinnamon and keep that aside in the fridge and add. So I'm adding about half of the fruits from that tin. It's a small tin, and make sure they disperse well and insert them using the whisk or a spoon. So the cake soaks up when the syrup is warm and become nice and moist. It will give a nice texture. I'm adding a little bit of cold water because I felt the fruit in the cake has sort of taken it just a little bit to sort of soak in, and keep this for cooling. Once this is cooled, refrigerate to set. So while this is put away in the refrigerator and setting, we move on to the next layer. So as you know, trifle is 3-layered pudding. So we move on to the second layer. The first layer is jelly and fruits. So we take a bowl in which we add about 2 tablespoons of custard powder. And now if you don't have custard powder available, you can always use corn flour and vanilla essence, maybe a little bit of yellow coloring, food coloring. That will give you the same result. We are using custard powder. Get a good variety like Brown and Polson or Pillsbury, and just dissolve this with a little milk. Remaining milk, of course, we're going to boil and then add the dissolved custard so that it thickens, and then we can pour it on top of the jelly. So dissolve it well so that no lumps remain, and that's the reason we're using cold milk. And simultaneously, while this is done, we're going to bring some milk to boil, the remaining milk, which is about 500 ml, half a liter. To this we add about 3 tablespoons of sugar, or you can just taste as per your taste. You require more sweetness or less sweetness, you can adjust the sugar. So we just stir that in while we are bringing that to boil. Once the milk boils, we sort of lower the flame to low, and then we're going to pour the dissolved custard. And once we do that, we bring the milk boil slowly back to the boil. Once that happens, you'll find that the milk thickens and forms a custard. So that you can, of course, here we go. Here we'll be pouring that in slowly, gradually, and stirring all the time so that no lumps form. And keep stirring it so that, because now that you're bringing it back to boil, it will tend to stick to the back of the. So we wash the bowl with the remaining milk and put the remaining dissolved custard back into the milk. Keep stirring so till it thickens, because once it thickens and starts to thicken, then the bottom layer tends to catch and burn, and then you get an awful burny taste on your custard. We don't want that. So we just keep stirring it till the custard comes back to a boil. Once it back to a boil, then we just put the flame off, and at this point you can just check the consistency that you require. And of course, the coating of the back of the spoon, that's a real test for a custard. You're making fresh egg custard or a vegetarian custard, both you can check the coating of the back of the spoon. That means the custard is ready, and you can see the boiling is happening. So we are pouring that mixture on top of the set jelly which we had kept in the refrigerator. Pour all of it and scrape it all off from the container, because this you need to do pretty fast, because as the custard cools it will start to set, and once it starts to set, then you'll have lumpy custard. That's what we don't want. We do this and keep it under the fan or a cool place to sort of cool. Again, this goes into the refrigerator, second layer. This is how it looks. So we've got the 2 layers of jelly, cake and fruits, and the custard layer. Again, you put it back in the fridge after cooling so that it sets well, and we are going to prepare for the 3rd layer. So for the 3rd layer, we are going to take a mixing bowl. You want this mixing bowl to be stainless steel or glass, but it should be well chilled. Keep in the refrigerator beforehand, or you can use sort of an ice water bath, or put it on top of another bowl with ice cubes on it, so the bowl remains chilled when you are whisking. That's very important. Get a good light whisk cream. So this I'm using Amul whipping cream, which is, or you can get double cream from the dairy, because double cream is the one which has got a higher fat content, and that's what is used for whipping and icing on top of the cake. To that we add about 2 tablespoons of grain sugar. Important to add grain sugar because you'll be able to aerate the cream faster and it'll become lighter, as well as simultaneously it'll sweeten the cream. That's what we want, because we wanted the cream a little sweeting. We're going to blend it, whisk it with a cake whisking machine at high speed. Faster the speed, the better the whisking. But you just need to be careful if you're using fresh dairy cream, which is double cream. In which case, if you cross the stage of whisk, it'll immediately curdle and form into butter, coagulate. So just be careful if you're using fresh cream. Of course, the packeted creams are a little safer because they have some preservatives in which the butter does not form so easily and doesn't coagulate and curdle. So we're going to whisk it again. We put the remaining cream which was in the box, and we whisk. If you see, my thumb is pulling at the highest speed, so we're going to give it a pulse and very high speed of whisking, so that you get a good light fluffy whisk cream texture. It'll be like egg whites. It start forming peaks when you lift up the whisk, and that's the point which is the lightest, and it'll be ready to form the 3rd layer. So while we are whisking this, of course, if you want to use fresh cream, is of course the best, but you'll find that the dairy fresh creams available in India are a little sour, and that's when you need to probably add more sugar. So I prefer using these kind of cream which are pasteurized and safer, and they do not have the sour taste on it. But yeah, fresh cream has its own benefits. Fresh cream, of course, tastes better. It does not form that buttery flavor or smooth in your mouth. The taste of fat does not come in this kind of cream. So we're almost there. Basically, if you see, it's already forming trails. The cream is forming trails as we're whisking it. So just about ready. We're just going to whisk it a little longer till the peaks form. Now, when I lift it, if you see, it retains the shape. That's when it's ready. So it's almost ready. It's forming more and more trails, and it's really light and fluffy. We're just going to stop the whisking and lift up. There you see the peaks have formed. It's retained the shape of the whisk. That means the whisking is ready. That's very important to get it right, otherwise it will be flowy and it will not set. So we take out the jelly custard layer which we had put in the fridge, and it's totally set. Custard layer is also set, and now we're going to just put the whipped cream on top, and we're almost done. So we're just going to spoon it all out slowly on top of the custard layer. So this is the 3rd layer of trifle that is going in, and it's a very classic and all-time favorite. My family and every family, I think, who's very, very popular in England, in Britain, because this is it's had every week or once every fortnight, it has to be made. So jelly, custard, and whipped cream layer. So we now take the remaining colorful fruits we had in the syrup and we just sort of decorate the top of the cream. Because the cream is set well and whipped well, so you will see that the fruit does not sink in, it stays to the top. So there's some peaches, some pineapple, some papaya from the syrup, and some palm kernels as well. Just decorate it, make it colorful, and there you have your fruit trifle is ready in 3 layers. Of course, we have to put it back in the fridge to let the cream and the custard and the jelly chill well before you serve, and of course give it some time to set the cream, that when you cut and serve, you'll be able to see all 3 separate layers into the bowl the person you're serving, which is really looks good and appetizing. Almost there. I'm going to freeze that into the deep freezer, and this is one of my favorite favorite dessert in the house. Just put the 3 layers, and sometimes of course I don't set it well. I just make the jelly separate, the custard separate, and I mix it up with some cut fruits. You can also do that if you don't feel that you're going to spend some time in setting it up. It's a quick process. Keep it separately. There you have it, fruit trifle. Enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on like and comment. And till next time.